over 11 million created.
Hello Blender folks, welcome and welcome back. I'm epistemic-gnomes and let's see if everything is okay. Yes, apparently okay, right. So, this is another session, maybe the last session of this development I'm making. Retakes I'm making on the... oh, those windows, they get me crazy. Okay, so yes, retakes on the eyes rig of this character I'm making, original character. Then so there are many things I was doing here. There's a long history already. But this is number 6 session that I'm retaking eyelids, whatever. And now the last thing that remained nearly was to before I attempt a challenge that I was proposing to myself, which would be to try to replicate those hold on, some facial expressions here, right? For eyes only. So like I have many of these files here, and then there are some good or bad or worse eyes expressions. Some are more interesting, some other are more not very hard. And so we're gonna take this as reference to try to replicate those expressions, at least for the eyes, because this is the only facial rigged stuff that I have for now. So this is the challenge, but before I am able to enabled to do this properly, of course I needed to adjust all the features of this rig, and the last feature that is remaining that is not actually working very well. It used to work well, but then after so many retakes it got the rig broke. It's the eyelashes rig, so I need to reassess the eyelashes rig, and this is what we're gonna do now, and I hope this would be sort of won't take a lot of time. So let's go already for it. Let's see. So vertex groups. First I'm gonna hide some mesh here to simplify this job. I just need to this task. So here, I think the sound for me is a bit too loud. Hold on, let me just reduce that. Yes. Alright, then let's go back on the Blender stuff and get the chat here, chat window, then floating chat window. Then here let's see what we can... Are we looking at the eyelashes? Yes, they are not masked, they are not hidden, so we can actually start working on it. Let me remember what I need to do. So there are many ways to operate, to solve the rig for the eyelashes. So the simplest thing in this kind of rig, it's an integrated eyes rig. You can check it for in the video description. There's a very long and tedious tutorial, but sort of custom rig thing. So original solution for... oh, I'm snapping, hold on, bad mistake here. Okay, here can be individual origins. And so I was talking about, yes, I have a tutorial, very long tutorial, like more than 20 videos tutorial of 15 minutes each, and it's an integrated eye rig, like an original custom rig, right, in case you wanted to have like something like that. I think it's kind of cool because there's no shape keys here. Of course, the eyelash, ignore the eyelash. It will be better if I just show if I mask the eyelash, so you see this kind of rig, the potential of this rig. You see, I have all these sort of shapes possible with bendy bones regarding the eyelids mesh, so we can get a lot of expressions from the eyelids alone, but also we can have, okay, move along with we can have also some this is regular, this I didn't invent, I was trying to reproduce. So we have also, besides the eyelids, we also have the shapes here, you see, for cartoony. So it's all bendy bones, could be done with spline eye key bone constraint. Apparently there are also a method with without bendy bones and without spline eye key bone constraint, so without spline skinning. There is a method to do those deforms, those smooth deforms. If you have like a series of bones, deformed bones, like acting in sync, like with I think it's action bone constraints, or there should be other alternatives. I never used the rig like that. Although it certainly has advantages, so far I like the bendy bones because they, in some sense, they are simpler. Of course, there are pros and cons. So the simple thing is you have, like, I have just two bendy bone splines from here. Then, okay, I made a continuation here, so you have more splines going here, but originally it was two splines for the top eyelid and two splines for the bottom eyelid. While the orbicularis oculi rig, it's a looping sequence, so it's a looping sequence of bendy bones splines. And here it's a C sequence, C-shaped sequence. It starts here, it ends there. The start doesn't matter, provided the orientation of the bones are adequate, so that's it. So yes, now there's an automation for the eyelash, and this is what got broke up, and that is what I need to fix. The idea that you can see in that tutorial that I've mentioned is that here the mesh is not, the eyelash mesh is not deforming properly. It should move down like a wing of a butterfly, maybe. Yeah, so there's an automation for that, and the eyelashes in this rig, they are pretty simple. It's just some sort of it's just a very simple mesh actually, and I can hide this thing for now. Yeah, here I got some complexification. I'm not sure I still need that, but in principle it's just this edge ring and this edge ring here. Edge ring, no, not edge ring. It's not an edge ring. An edge selection, whatever. I forgot the name of this thing. Not an edge loop, because this is not looping, so I can select only this vertex as the, and it doesn't select the inner ones, which already are, for me, conceptually they are already eyelids mesh, and all the eyelids mesh, it is shrink wrapped through some shrink wrap modifier to the eye surface. So it's not an eyeball, it's an eye surface mesh object. Okay, so there's, this is why I can make these deforms on the eyelids. They just keep snapping to the whatever eye we have there below, and so it's shrink wrapping. And so there is a way to, and so what happens here, the smart solution that I found here, which is very interesting, is that yes, the bendy bone splines, they allow, the spline skinning allow this smoothness of the curve, but this curve that I'm shaping here for the eyelid expression, they are also curving in relation according to the eye surface. So you have a very complex shape here in real time. So this is the cool thing about it. So it is because it is shrink wrapping. Actually, this sort of shrink wrapping solution also works with shape keys for the eyelids. Like if you have a shape key that open and close the eyelids, if you use a shrink wrap object modifier for the eyelids mesh as a vertex group, only the eyelids mesh, even though it is connected to the rest of the face mesh, because it's a vertex group. So for example here, hold on, let's get the mesh object, then it's somewhere down there, so they have this mod, so there we go on edit mode, so the eyelids mesh is here for the left side, and yes, so that's the vertex group which is affected by a shrink wrap modifier, which is here. It's equivalent to that one, and it's offset, it's outside surface to a certain offset distance, very small but enough to have some. So this helps avoid interpenetrations. If they are still going interpenetration, you can try to augment this lightly and a bit more. So this value is good for the current rig. There's no solidify modifier here. I'm not going to enter in more details. We have all this I've described in that tutorial and the previous live streaming sessions. I also mentioned what's going on here. So I have a job to do here, which is this work to do here, which is the retaking these eyelashes deformed. So let's unhide. I've chosen to have the rest position of the mesh, the eyelids, the eyes open. There's advantage to that and disadvantage to that. I'm concerned that maybe it's more disadvantages than advantages, because the main advantage that it has, well, there are two main advantages at least. One is that, well, if the character design, the open eyes is very important, as well as the closed eyes is also very important. At least the open eyes will have an easy, good shape there. And another interesting feature of that is the collapsing of the... I don't see this very well, but I have to hide it again. Alright, let's hide again, at least the top eyelash for the left side. So you see that all these mesh, there are subdivisions of course, but they're not, well, this is not edit mode for the mesh object. This is okay. So the subdivisions, they're not a lot actually. There's like there's one, two, three, just three subdivisions in between there. Normally that's not, and as we include the subdivision surface modifier, just one subdivision level viewport, it will add a few more. We don't see this very well here, strangely. Okay, never mind. The fact is that the advantage of having the rest pose of the eyelids, the eyes open, is that this mesh auto collapses. We just dispose it like that, and then because of they are edge rings, these ones, so they are looping all around the eye, so that's is simple but very adaptive mesh topology, right? So just circles. And so because it starts already all collapsed, which very well, not 100% collapsed, maybe we could do that, but yeah, there's small this, and then it start to get wider, larger, the distance between them, especially the last one. So there's a disadvantage. It makes wave painting a bit more tricky for the last, yeah, for those if we want to layer the wave painting, but it's feasible. But the good thing is that it auto collapses naturally on the rest pose, and it decollapses gradually, also sort of naturally, although here there are a lot of subdivisions here, but this is fake. Yeah, this is fake. The real subdivisions, we should be able to visualize them if we hide the subdivision. Okay, so yeah, there are some things there that I cannot understand properly, but sometimes it's difficult to wave paint. So this is one disadvantage of this collapsed mesh on the rest pose. Maybe a good approach that maybe I haven't experimented a lot, but maybe that would be a good idea, is that, well, I don't have to get it totally like very collapsed. I can just have maybe a rest pose, some rest position for the mesh somewhere like here, so not like very totally open eye, totally very collapsed eyelash. So we'll still benefit from some natural collapsing, right? And at the same time we'll still benefit from perhaps certain in between shape here, natural in between shape, yeah, perhaps. And decollapsing will also be more natural, so perhaps we could avoid some issues I'm having here, that the mesh there decollapsed more there than actually in the border, in the outer edge or the inner edge, whatever of the eyelid mesh. So this is things to, yeah, so this is not very interesting. I would like it to be the opposite. So this was totally unexpected, but we can still wave paint. But this was becoming a nightmare occasionally, but I fixed it. So you see that I don't actually need to retake the eyelids mesh currently. I've made a lot of adjustments to it, so this is why we are stepping to the next thing, which is the eyelashes. All right. So enough of the explanations. Let's save here. Though didn't make any change, but maybe got ready some stuff. So what I need to remember some aspects of the last session I was talking about is that as I was retaking the eyelids, I've changed the roles of these bones and the control handles of these belly bone splines for the eyelids rig. So these bones are not related to the eyelashes. The eyelashes rig have their own deformed bones, and they don't have control bones. So this will be a deformed eyelash bone. So there's 3 for the top eyelash and 3 for the bottom eyelash. They are slightly larger here. This one is very high, but they have bone constraints. So the idea here is the following. Let me pick them all. Let's hide the other deformed bones. We don't need. We can hide. Yeah, I need the control. These control bones for the eyelids. They still control through bone constraints. Usually the the eyelashes through a copy location bone constraint. We'll see that in a moment. So I'm hiding this. Okay, so these are the deformed bones for the eyelashes. I don't need to watch the other side, and these are the... Oh, okay, so I need to make some symmetrization here, but let's just hide the right side so it gets simple to work with all that. What is this? This is... Okay, we can also hide this this one. So you just need this and this. So control bones for the eyelids rig and deform bones for the eyelashes rig. I cannot use anymore. So we have a... Oh yes, I needed to show what was this all about. So we let's see if yeah. So here we see that the bottom eyelash is a bit more operational than the top one currently. At least this middle one is very bad, but the others are more like okay. So the top one, the bottom one, they are more... They still work a little. So what is this all about? So if I pick the deformed bones, all of the 6 ones for the left side, there's a... I'll hide... Hold on, screencast on. If I hide the transformation bone constraint that which one has got, what we see is that they have a copy location all directed to their respective eyelid bone, although it's not working 100% for some reason. Oh, it is. What's happening is because this is a proxy location. It's a false location. This is because of the custom shape. If I just zeroed out this value, then you see it matches. So it's just the custom shape. I could do this for that, but I think it won't match because the orientation of these bones are different. All these bones are like world oriented, sort of, not exactly. Like if you wanted the bone to be world oriented, it should be like inverted, right? And the z-axis pointing up, but nothing. It's not this. They're just sort of world oriented, aligned with world space. They are facing forwards of the character, and their z-axis are pointing up. Alright, so this facilitates the fact that the local space for them is very easy to solve in terms of on the transformation bone constraint. The map 2, which relates to the owner bone of the bone constraint, so itself, this it has, so what it does, it picks some data from location data from that bone, which is the target, and currently it's disabled, so it's just following the copy location with the offset that I've mentioned before because of the custom shape, translation offset, right? And if I enable, so it picks this location and owner local space, that's what matters here, so it will use its z-axis. So currently I'm using the z-axis, I were using the z-axis of the target bone, but because I changed the orientation of these bones on my retake, I cannot use its z-axis anymore. You see its z-axis pointing forwards, so it's not, I could use its negative, its x-axis, but I want to simplify this stuff in terms of, let's say, mathematics, logics. So what I'm gonna, even though yeah, so this is more complicated to start with. I started the most complicated, these ones in the middle, because they have a different setup. Let's start with something like that. What's happening here? So it's same thing, except now the target bound for this bond, the transformer bound constraint, is this one. As this bone moves up and down on its y-axis. Okay, so here I have already made changes. So this is using its y-axis on local space, so on rest position. This doesn't switch dynamically, this is always, so this is the orientation of the y-axis for this bone on pose mode. It will always, even if the bone here rotates, it doesn't change the y-axis. It's that we've seen there. And so as we move up, the y-axis of the control bone here, we see it will change here. So positive 0.18 or 1.8, and then reset, and then it's 0 because it's local space, and then we move down negative 0.11. So yeah, so it starts at 0 because the bone constraints which are affecting it are not totally changing its they are changing. Okay, never mind, I doesn't matter, it doesn't affect here directly. So what we need here, it's used this from map from of the target, so it's used local space, and it will make additional transforms besides the copy location bone constraints, which use the same target, right? So this bone is copying these locations bones, these bones location, I mean, in real time. But in addition to that bone constraint, there is an add, so there's mix add for the transformation bone constraint, so that as we move this up, there's a range here on the transformation bone constraint. This I've mapped, really calculated, I mean, I've mapped like where it is negative 0, 1 for the y, minus y for this bone. Well, it would be somewhere like somewhere like here, right? 0. So I map this value and then I input that there. So this is our range, and same for the positive. I'll pick some positive 117, something like that, for the y-axis of the control bone, and then I pick that value and put that there. So this range of motion here for the y-axis of this, even if this y-axis is not perfectly oriented up down, it's just if it's tilting, it's diagonal, it's just enough, so whatever up and down motion I pose it, the y-axis will respond logically, right? Mathematically it's good enough. So not very accurate towards space, but it's okay. This will be negative y and this will be positive y, so that's okay, but we can improve that, and this was the idea. What I can do here, I'll risk some, this is working, but I want to improve this rig. So what I'm gonna do is that instead of using, I want the local space, because these orientations are all twisted, I'll just pick the bone here and use target instead of local space of itself, this local space. Now let's use the local space owner orientation, so the orientations of this bone which are properly aligned, z-axis pointing up. And so the map from now cannot use these values anymore. there's a problem in this. The mapping will be a little harder now, because yeah, I cannot use those. Let's save here. Just yeah, let's save and let's make the crazy thing. Okay, so in principle, let's reset this. I cannot use the same values here. I will swap everything to the Z, even though some like this one is not relevant. This would be the transforms that the eyelash bone, that one, the owner of the bone constraint on its own local space, will suffer, but from location of this bone, but using these gizmos. The problem now, I haven't thought about it, so this will be an alternative method, is that I cannot anymore map, I believe, from these values here, because these are local coordinates for this bone on its own orientations. This means that it would be as like I'll have to know how this bone would, yeah, oh, hold on, what's that? Okay, I need to reposition this bone anyways, because the top yeah, all these bones are displaced. Let me fix this quickly. And this will do for the other side as well. Alright, this is fixed. Now, yeah, they don't match because of the how they say the widgets, custom shapes. They are translated. Doesn't matter. This match. So yeah. So what I can do, however, since I cannot rely on these values, I can still, although this is not ideal, I can pick them both like simultaneously, and this is the value of this, right? I hope this is right. Yeah, this is the last selection, alright, the active element, which shows here. So I'll pick them both, and so I'm simulating the copy location, and so I want to see up to which position I would like to have this at maximum. Maybe like this. So this will be z-axis 0.41, 0.40, right? I mean 0.4 for this bone. So let's pick this thing. So this will become the new reference, so a maximum positive 0.4 for this, because now I'm using its local local space. Okay, it makes everything more complicated, but in some sense this is a simplification also, so that's more logical maybe. It's more organized because now this it's used the same axis here. Another alternative that I would have to create, because of the state of the rig for these sets here, is a proxy bone. I'll create an additional bone to be I could do that for every set here, but I'll just these actually require this, while these ones can do as I'm doing here. The reason I need to do this for this one is because there are some different parenting here for very specific situation, and so I cannot toggle this to local space. It will break something very special that these ones have. So unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but here I'll have to create a new bone, a proxy bone, to serve as the orientation of this one. I don't like the idea of adding more bones usually, but in terms of organization it might be better practice, better rigging practice. Yeah, because then the bones, the reason why I don't dislike is that you have to have more bone layers, then more bones to reposition that you can accidentally displace, and yeah, and more bone constraints, and yeah, it tends to make things more difficult to read and to maintain, right? Because whatever change we need to readapt for everything. But on the positive side, at least, it helps, how do you say, break down the rig in different instances, which can be more organized and more flexible, while if you stack lots of functionalities on the same bones, yeah, this can become easier to handle to a certain extent, but eventually it might cause some limitations on the rig, and then we might wish, oh, why I cannot do this or that? Well, because the rig it's too simplified. It requires, there are stacking functionalities. We need to destack that, redistribute the functionalities to specific bones. Alright, so I'm not, you see, I'm not doing this for this, so I'm relying on this new feature here. So I'm describing those values here. Then for the bottom pose, the minimum value for the z-axis, maybe somewhere like here, why not? Yes, so this will be negative 0.5. I like that. Okay, so we pick here, and the z minimum 0.5. And so this is map from, this is done. This means the following, folks, that there is a range from the maximum and the minimum for the z-axis of this bone on those heights, right? I hope this is correct. That on this range, what will happen is that, this is even confusing now, but yeah, in principle, respecting these gizmos at this position for that bone, this is completely crazy. It's like this bone is using these gizmos to know certain z-axis position. I hope this works, but it will be a bit hard to visualize this if it actually is working. But well, anyways, I collapsed the map from, and now let's go for the map 2. So now what we are doing here is that we need to, yeah, let's do this. Gun pose mode. Okay, of course we need to re-enable this as well as this. Okay, so now we can see what we have done. As we pose this bone up, we see that this bone, the deformed bone, goes up. This is because it's z-axis now for this bone, so this is owner bone. Map 2 relates to the owner bone, so the owner of the bone constraint, which is exactly the eyelash deformed bone that we want, that we are working on. So you have the copy location and transformation stacking. Then it's local space, right? So the z-axis for this bone will, on a minimum, from that range, they will automatically find some, how do you say, equivalence, right? It's like, yeah, this is Thales theorem, right? Of proportionality. Yeah, so this is proportional. This range is, Blender will automatically try to match this range to, so you don't have to see this right now. Now this is more of a visual thing, right? And so if I augment the maximum, what we have is that the bone goes upper as we move up. Of course, there is a range, there's a maximum range. You remember it was somewhere like here. Beyond that, the bone does stop growing, stop going up. Well, it'll still go up because of the copy location, right? It's like a parenting, sort of like a parent offset. At some point it will stop growing, and that was the location that, yeah, somewhere like here, I guess. So apparently it's responding to what I suspected was on the map from, so yes. And for the minimum, same thing, I have the minimum value here for the z-axis, local space here, so negative z is downwards. So this is not world space, this is local space. That means that if I rotate the head, it will still relate to a local space orientation, so that's good, right? On world space, the rig would break because it wouldn't know, it wouldn't take care about the head's rotation. It will be always going Z up, even if the head is tilted or whatever, on the body, whatever. Alright, so hold on. So I want the eyelash to go downwards more, and maybe it's going a bit too much up, right? We don't want that, so let's just reduce the, yeah, it's a gigantic bone constraint. Let's augment the size of the window, the panel, the editor. We are going to diminish the maximum. We don't want the top eyelash on this area, on this inner region, to go that up. It doesn't need, it's like a tiny thing. So maybe 0, even, what about this? Even this could be okay for that, but let's exaggerate a little, it might be nice. There's interpenetration bad, but we can fix this by just posing this forward. I still don't like the shape, so maybe it's too much. But I have another idea for fixing this, so we can even augment this a little more. And then the bottom, maybe I would like this to go, so let's get this value lesser. So it's getting interesting, this motion. Alright, what about a little more, a little less? In this case it's a negative value. Yeah, kind of looking fine. Yeah, this is interesting, at least interesting, so I like that. We don't need to bother the extended goals. What matters is really the deforms here. If the things here are regular stuff, right? So this was what I was talking about, the proportionality. So this range map from, we map from, like, virtually it's, or literally is really the poses we want the control bone, in this case, to be maximum and minimum, right? It could be inverse, like minimum and maximum, according to how we set the stuff here, right? But this will be, I'm doing this way because it's the the more logical way, the more natural way, right? We don't want to complicate everything, so that's why minimum use z negative z, right? That's why. And that's why also I'm switching this to local space on orientation, so I can reuse these gizmos here, and even I get the positioning of this bone, but in relation to this local space. This is very intriguing, right? And so confusing, but it works. That's what matters. Okay, so I have some interpretations here, but this pose is perhaps not to be done like that. If we pose that way, we should probably also pose the rest of the eye, and we can remember always push this, because the shrink wrap bone constraint, it's outside. There's a ghost surface mesh object here which mimics, we don't see it very well, there it is. Well, it's all around there, so it's a grid, it's in wireframe, it appears, and if I try to, yeah, here it is, it has this shape, so it's a single object ghost that stays there, and I've lost my armature. Where is the armature? Okay, so apparently, oh, what happened? I think, yeah, I hidden all the bones. I've hid all the bones. All right, so now, okay, so this will be how I solved the inner eyelash deforms. Of course, there would be more poses to check, but since the other ones are not good enough yet, at least for this one right now it seems okay, workable. And then after I'll symmetrize everything, but not yet. So what we need here is the following, folks. There's also an additional tweak here for the x-axis for this bone, so positive x, so it is slightly getting itself to the side. This is arbitrary, don't need that, but if we want that, it will be always offsetting. If we maintain minimum and maximum, the range is stable, like, but I don't want that. You see, it's not very interesting that much, at least, so let's reduce that. So so it gets slightly tilted. We can do that from the rest pose anyways, rest position I mean, of the mesh, but we can also tweak it from here, so this is interesting. We can also, it doesn't need to be symmetric, so what happened, I mean equivalent, so what happened here, as we move this up and down the eyelash, you see the bone go left and right. Maybe this is a good idea. Yeah, I like this. I did it randomly. Actually, this seems accurate. Just not exaggerate that too much, right? So here it got negative x, and here it goes positive x. Okay, that's interesting. So we can tweak that way too. Then here, of course, as it goes up, it goes too much there, and we have to push it there. Yeah, but it's cool. It's kind of cool, and it can still push the bone itself to the side, right? So lots of options. And finally, there's the wave painting that I'm not touching, but there's another way to tweak the mesh, the deforms I mean, which is exactly by changing the mesh itself. That we are seeing here is the eyebrow, the mirrored eyebrow, which doesn't matter right now. So yes, we can change this the mesh from here, and this can largely affect also the size of the eyelids mesh, so this can be beneficial sometimes. It's just an additional way to adjust. So I like how it is looking here. We can augment. I dislike how it's shaped here. It looks like it's going too much downwards. Hold on, don't confuse, it's this bone here. Maybe I can augment the minimum, it's too low. Let's see now. Okay, you see now it doesn't deform, it doesn't grow downwards too much. Now it's subtle. It's looking pretty good now, I think. Of course, we never pose this alone, you can also rotate. It depends on other factors, so you need to fix all that before we see the final results. Then it will be, we may have to make reiterations here to see if everything is going fine. I'm a bit concerned about this inwards thing, so maybe negative X, let's just get it not that inwards, right? So really now it's more subtle. Reset. And we should also, what about this thing? There's some strange thing here, maybe we can solve it. Yeah, this part of the mesh is a bit strange shape here too. I think it could curve more. We could solve that with wave painting. That is another issue. There's another minor issue. We'll address it last tweaking. So now I could go directly to the center one, but for this one I don't have. Yeah, I have to investigate if there's another way to solve the relation it is having right now. Yeah, it is time that I address this. This is a big problematic. It's more a conceptual thing. So I have to visualize some bones here. What? Okay, so what happens here is the following, folks. This is very interesting, and I'm still tweaking it in order to find the best solution. So these circular bones here, they are shapes, they are main bones. They are meant to control simultaneously the eyelids, at least the bottom one, and these orbicularis oculi rig, the bottom ones as well. So they move in sync, so I don't have every time to pick like double select. It's all like a sort of automation to simplify, but it's very difficult to have these main bones working fine. But ultimately I think they are useful, so that's why I wanted them. The problem is the following: we have this up and down, okay, and you see those bones are moving as well. They have copy transforms on some lesser influence, so this makes that they don't move. Oh, this one is moving too much. This is the shrink wrap. No. So maybe here I have to change this. So this one is 0.2. Let's give it a 0.3. Maybe even less. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe even less. 0.1. Let's see now. Alright, this is, although there's interpenetration, but this is because of the eyelash rig that I need to improve. So it's not necessarily related to what I'm doing right now. Alright, But the problem, okay, so this has copy transform, this have copy transform, and so all right, let's try to even reduce that to, yeah, it's already very reduced. Let's try 0.1 as well. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's keep it at that. It seems to be subtle, more subtle, so maybe it's better. Then we can still pose them individually, so that's fine. That's great actually, right? And even those ones, so we can have major, that's why main bones and the lesser ones. All right, so okay, so going back, we had the copy transform for that, and that means that if I rotate these bones like that, not that this will be required, but sometimes rotating the main bone can be useful. So you see that rotates, slightly rotates the others because precisely of the copy transforms. I think this also have a copy transforms, but this is a higher value than these ones. Okay, 0.2 for both here. And then what happens is this one, the middle ones, the eyelid middle one and the middle one of the orbicularis oculi, which is the name of these muscle structure around the eye hole in human anatomy. This one also has a copy location just like this, and these copy locations, they are, let me just hide this one. These copy locations, they target that main bone, right? The same bone on, yeah, so 0.01, 0. And so what it does, this copy location, is that okay, it, as I move down, they move together, right? This is simple, right? But there's another interesting thing. They are parented, offset to the main bone, while all the others, they are parented to the head bone. And this different parenting is crucial for this peculiar system that which I've made, because as I rotate this bone, you see they tilt. This and this, they tilt. This is because of the offset parenting, while these otters, because they are not parented offset, they are just copy transformed, they rotate in place. Because if they tilt like that, they would be doing something like that, and this will destroy the lateral columns, let's say the structure. This will be a too radical motion for the bones on the sides. And so this is why I decided that for the middle point I will have this tilting. I don't know if we could call that tilting, but and the copy location, bone constraint, they are actually some sort of inverted crazy thing, so they will like counteract the motion. What means is that if because they are already parented, offset to this bone, they will follow 100%, right? But here they are not tilting for some reason, but whatever. As soon as I create a copy location bone constraint with the invert thing, it's like they are the offset parenting is 100%. So let's negate this for a moment, and you see what will happen. Now the bone is moving 100% plus 10%. Hardly we visualize this, but maybe you'll see better if we do this. Yeah. So now it's like moving like 150% and rotating. Yeah. Okay. But as we invert, it's like doing the negative. It will be like 50% of copying location. So it lags behind. And so instead of going 100%, it copies just 50%. And so this is a way to have it lagging behind. Even though it is parented. So why those bones need this thing? Maybe there's another way to solve this thing. The only thing that I didn't want anyways is that these bones, they cannot do this kind of tilting. This will be terrible. But there should be, I've tried many things, and the easiest way to replicate this system where I could make this tilting, which is helpful for easier deforms there, is to use that offset parenting. Because alright, so enough explanation. You have to take the music back. Let's okay, now that I've explained why this is why this target for the middle bones is important, because locally with parent, if this was just local space, what will happen is as I control the main bone, it wouldn't cause this bone, the eyelid bone, to which is the target of the bone constraint for its respective eyelash deformed bone. It wouldn't, you see how it moves? Okay, so the eyelash bone, right, it responds, but now it doesn't respond if I use the main bone. But if I get the local space for the target with parent, local with parent, then this means that this bone, and I don't understand clearly, but this means that because this bone is parented to the main control bone, this bone will also respond not only to that, but to that. Wait, it's not responding very well actually. Or it's just impression. We'll need to... let's do something like that. No, it seems to be fine. Or not. I need more influence here. Alright, let's see now. Okay, that is more likely. Now let's see if you do that. Yeah, so you see, it responds. And then of course I can still repose this individually. So it will be very bad if I'm trying to automate everything, so if things didn't respond properly. So this is why in the case of the middle ones, I've decided to use this local with parent, because the different parenting of these bones. Alright, just because I have this main stuff here. Eventually, if I find a better, simpler solution for all that, I'll mention it, but for now this is what I have, and as bizarre as it is, it works. So that is the cool thing about making experimentation in rigging, right? But it's very complicated, right? Already, but it works. Okay, so but this means that for solving, yeah, okay, so let's work with this one because we already solved that one. So this means that if I wanted to use proper spaces here with these gizmos, I cannot use this, I cannot change this. There's not a combination, right, with local space on orientation with parents. So I need to create, yeah, let's make that. So let's create a new bone from here. This bone will be just a proxy bone, so let's call it wait, no, this is the wrong bone. It's this one. Oh, this bone also it's in a bad location. Let's readjust that. And same here, let's refix these positions. All right, so this is the main control bone and this is the eyelash bone. So this extra bone, we'll name it something like mechanism. Yeah, that thing. And we'll also make a duplicate of that, put it there and rename it like, except that bot. So these are mechanism 003. No, 002, of course, because it's bot. It just added a new next number there. And so now we're gonna just use the orientations here, same orientation, and same orientation here, and we are also going to change the, I guess, the size of these bones. Yeah, let's make something like that. Then let's expand, let's do it something like that. And also here, this bone doesn't seem to be properly aligned. Let's align with that. I don't know what is the world orientation aligned with. Let's see. Yeah, they were unaligned apparently. So okay, probably did correctly. Can always recheck this at the very end, but there we go. So this bone is just there'll be just some sort of targets, right? So they don't have. Let's also paint them in a mechanism bone group. What was the music has gone? Need to restart from the beginning, right? All right. Let's use here mechanism bones. Yes, assign. We should also duplicate these things, like symmetrize, since we're here. Then probably have to do that over and over again, but let's just create them on the opposite side right now. Then let's save this, but on let's save it here exactly. I'm seeing too many bones here that are not required. Yeah, that is good enough. I want to now these bones, they are a bit too large in relation to the one I've created, so let's just get this slightly lesser. Okay, this is better. Then yeah, we can get this slightly less. Okay, I need now to I'm gonna work on that. Now I haven't thought 100% of what I needed to do here. So it should require to use a custom space target, local parent. Ah, hold on. Maybe all this is not required because since these bones have the same orientation, the same starting location, right? The main bones, and it's local with parent, so this is a substitute to that. Alright, so maybe this is not necessary after all. So, and even if it were, maybe there wouldn't be a simple way to use it as a custom space, or yeah, maybe it wouldn't work as I was expecting. Alright, so if that's the case, let's see what we can do from here. I need though to make sure. Yes, so let's open the tabs here. So I want to map from on the z-axis, right? So the positive, let's say it will be 0. Why not 0.3 in case we wanted the eyelash to go, the eyelid to go that far. Yes, maybe it's required. 0.3, okay, maximum 0, and actually 0.4, so okay, 0.3 then. And for the minimum, am I picking properly? Yes, so this is the negative 0.8 for this bone, right? Not this bone, this has a different position. Maybe this is good enough, right? 85 maybe? Exaggeration? It's always cool to have exaggerations, right? So it doesn't hurt actually, so maybe we can 0.9, maybe it's a good idea to have exaggeration. So let's pick that again. Let's reuse this copy location. Re-enable copy location, sorry. Okay, local space, and then oh, that's even more exaggerated than I had. And let's keep this 0.4, right? 0.4, which will be something like, whoa, no, this can't be right. No, it can't. Okay, sorry, need to, okay, let's reset. Let's see, 0.4 would be something like, yeah, whenever I would need something like that, it seems too much, so yeah, 0.3 in this case, I think it's enough. Yeah, so okay, we've reduced the extent of this for some reason. I think the reduction is due to the fact that now I'm using pure z-axis align with world space. Before, I was using the z-axis of this bone, but the z-axis wasn't pointing, although it was oriented somewhere like aligned with world space, somewhat aligned with the z-axis, it was tilted. So like a value of 1 for it actually would mean much more than a value of 1 for a bone which is fully aligned. So a 1 here would go far more, so this is why I had to reduce here. These are pure values for z-axis. Yeah, in terms of alignment with world z-axis. Alright, so we've mapped from. Great, I can enable this. Now we can start working on the posing of this thing. Hold on, I don't need to watch this thing. Alright, simplifying the visualization. Now what we see is that, of course, this bone here, not using the, yeah, okay, it's the Z, all Z, doesn't matter. Same here, all Z, all Z, all Z. This is wrong. All Z, all Z. This is using older data. No, this is just, I forgot. It's not necessary, but let's conform these things. All Z and all Z. Okay, so all Z. So you see it gray marked things is just this which is important. So just the local with parent space for the target. So it will be the main bone which disappeared. Its gizmo, its local space. Even though it is this bone, it's as if we are. Yeah. So. Whatever, it's as if it was mapping the positioning of the other bone, even if it is not moving at all. Alright, so what we need here is to, now that we mapped from, we need to map to, what's happening is that the minimum here is not very good, right? The minimum should go much lesser, right? And maybe the maximum it's just too much, or C, okay, this is correct. Alright, so maybe it was not that much. Let's see. I don't know about that minimum, this is strange. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so the bone is not moving downwards enough as we would like to. So we need to push it down, so maybe this is a very lesser negative number. Let's see now. It's resisting to go down, maybe. I suspect there's something wrong about those things, but am I doing it right? Minimum. Alright, this couldn't be wrong. Add, right, everything seems to be correct. It's just that this bone is not moving down so much. It is behaving strangely. Let's try it more. Okay. Now, of course, it's too negative. This could be some wave painting issues, maybe also related to the other one. I think the map from is bizarre. It is not. This is not sounding any good. But let's finish some last things here. Okay, let's reset. Let's see. Okay, so now it's just copy location, right? Just copy location, right? It follows, right? No problem. We want it to go down as the. So we want a negative minimum as the bone moves down, right? But it's not growing. It's like it's maintaining. Yeah, this is not working as expected, so maybe this is wrong. Maybe I'll have to revision all that thing. Extrapolate, does it? No, there's nothing to do. I don't need that. So, the target is correct. Yes, the target is that one. Local space, whatever. Or what is the? Okay, local with owner orientation. Okay, now you see it works. So apparently the parenting thing, the local with parent was not working. And I see what I can do though. Alright, let's go back here and see something here. Oh, this bone, no, this bone orientation is correct. It's the same as this one, right? So why not responding? Okay, so I'll make the attempt again, but now a bit different. I understood what I could do. So let's add this bone. Let's align here with this, and let's reduce like that, and then like this. Is just called bone for now. What we're gonna do is that we're gonna parent this bone to the proxy bone, and parent the proxy bone to this one. Then I suspect there are some bad interferences. This bone was behaving strangely regarding local space, its own local space. So if I'm correct, then this means that okay, if I move that, that moves. If I move that, all the that moves. Okay, so that's accurate. That's fine. Now I need to why it is being displaced. Okay, that's must be normal. Local space, okay. Although you could change the target, but that's fine. Transformation. Oh, I see what I did wrong. I was mapping this thing. No, while perhaps I mapped everything wrong, right? Okay, so what I mean is maybe I was mapping everything wrong. That these should never be. No, this seems to have been mapped properly. Like it was 0.3 and then negative 0.9. Yeah, so this is no, this is not a, this shouldn't have been the problem. Then we use here, okay, local with parent, all right, and this means let's enable the bone constraints. Let's see now. Let's enable these things. Alright, seems to be failing, so this doesn't seem to be actually responding correctly. Strangely, this system was working before. I don't know what's happening, folks, but well, I'll have to find another solution for my rig. There's a good thing about this is that the good thing about that is that yeah, I can explore maybe less weird solutions. Let's change the, what is this? This bone is no, this is completely wrong. Okay, so let's clear parent. Okay, I'll attempt something different, right? We'll see if it should be possible to have something different. Taking the risk for a good cause. I'll try to reproduce that tilting, right? But actually, first of all, can't everything work if I just, let's see. Okay, this is enabled like that. So what's going wrong here? Okay, I remember. Is that this doesn't make it operatable. Alright. So this was the main problem I was suffering. So let's make a new version here, 78. Alright, let's reconfigure this crazy thing. Where is the def bone? I want the head bone to appear. Let's parent this to the head bone. Alright, then this also to the head bone, and this also is parent to the head bone. Alright, so getting something to work regularly, right? And all this also parent to the head bone. Alright, this backs to the original setting. So what happens now is that, of course, the copy locations for this shouldn't be working anymore as it was doing. So we have to deal with that. But at least I got back my functionality here. I can. Alright, so I can solve the eyelash rig, but I still have to find a way to solve this. Let's use the copy transforms instead. And let's see, copy transforms. Replace, no, not replace, before original local space with parent with owner orientation. Alright, so this system works. Alright, that's great, but we don't want all that pressure. We want perhaps some smaller influence. So here is okay, so like 0.7 maybe. Yeah, let's keep it like that, maybe even 0.8. Okay, so what it does, it pushes the bone, it also makes the automation. The only thing that this doesn't have actually is that, yeah, these rotations, yeah, it's not that bad. Okay, we can. Alright folks, I don't know why I was so excited about the other. Apparently I have found some usefulness on the previous rig, but it adds so much intricacies to the. It's a variation, right? So it gets confusing to even to the to the own rigger, right? It's better when we have. What's the order here? First copy, then shrink wrap. First copy, then shrink wrap. All right. Owner orientation. Yeah, I'll use owner orientation, right? So let's do the same here, since we're here. So no more copy. It's copy transforms on owner orientation, local space, and then here maybe 0.8, and then before original. That's it. That's it. And then the rotation. Yeah, so if we wanted we just tilt that way, right? That's perfectly fine. There's another bone here, we can also do the same thing. So that's it. We do manual adjustments if we want. Great. So another important improvement, simplification on this whole rig. I think it's a good thing. It took a lot of time, but useful. I think it was an improvement. So simplification in that case has beaten the overcomplications of some features that we weren't sure exactly what were meant to be. So here, instead of this, we'll just local with parent, right? Alright, then we have to fix that later. So let's continue with the eyelashes. I'm about to give it a pause because we worked a lot already on this. At least we made this more regular rig. Here there's another irregularity, so there's some parenting between these ones. But this is something that so far seems to be working. Should be careful about some stuff that can happen here. But anyways, this is relatively simple. The bound constraints here, though they are not divergent, they are the same ideas. Yeah, so yeah, copy transform, shrink wrap, copy transform, shrink wrap. It's all the same pattern. Much simpler to understand everything. So here, probably this is happening because of wave painting. So I want to fix that. Let's see for the other one. Okay, so this manipulation here, this one we have to use map from. This one we have already mapped from with this new setup here. So I just want to have this. Okay, this doesn't use the other X stuff, tilting sideways, so just this one we can grow it up now here. And as it goes down, we could have, well, it's going down a lot, and it's not making this inversion of the mesh very well. This is because probably there's very low waves on this bone, on the eyelash, so in the middle. And the middle is the most important part. It might have lost weight accidentally. So let's fix this before we do anything else. I want to make a selection here with sim. Okay, just that selection, please. Then we go back on here. The rest of the mesh is hidden. We're going to go on wave paint mode, and we gonna pick the proper eyelash bone, the middle one here. We're going to check with some vertex selection option here. Wave seems to be strong, but not strong enough. Okay, this double vertices is just it's because of the solidify modifier elsewhere. It's actually just one vertex. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna reinforce those waves. Wait, something wrong is happening there. I have wrong waves. Yeah, wrong selection. This is not the selection that I need. I did it wrong. It's just this and okay, so that's this and this and perhaps this too, right? Right, this is not an edge, this is a bone axis orientation. Alright, so there's just the outer ring and two vertices inside there. Now, yes, we can go back here. Then we need to pick the bone, the proper eyelash bone, and then we use the mask. Then we can wave paint that, but apparently it's not being good enough. Okay, let's this is annoying. Let's hide this thing. Okay, this is for the lips, and for some reason it affects that way the rest of the mesh. So here I'm having some trouble. Maybe I need to use some fall off projected, I don't know. Not really helping that much. I'm not here using, yeah, so it's very strange here. I'm having some resistance of the, okay, so those are shared waves, and so what I can assume here, I can paint everything. There's no auto normalize option, so yes, I can do that because the middle one is the most important. Then I can start to take off these waves but clearly the behavior is not. Maybe this is because these other bones, yeah, they have themselves too many influence there. So what we can do here is like some eradication of waves. It's very hard to. We could use some subtraction even. What is the proper way to? It's not answering, so the mesh is very irresponsible right now. It's very. This is the worst, one of the worst things I've been facing, and I'm not sure why this keeps happening in these retakes. Okay, so you see that the mesh here is clear. Let's just take off some waves here gradually, and then same from here. Let's start taking that off gradually. These inner ones might be a bit more complicated to understand how they should behave. I was very reluctant to add them, and if possible I will take them off, but currently I think they are required. It's like the curve on the eyelash at that last portion, otherwise it sometimes gets interpenetrated with the face, but I never needed that. It's just a later addition. It makes things more complicated. I hope I will be able to delete them later. Okay, so far this part. Okay, start to behaving better. Here there is, maybe this is just about something about the eyelids mesh and not so much about the eyelash mesh, who knows. There's only 3 deformed bones here, although I must compute the possibility of rogue waves, but don't think that's the case, but we should recheck in this case. So here we have did that, so let's make some blurring thing. Yeah, let's take off lots of waves here and just okay, let's see now. Let's pose the, as I've said, the middle bone is the most important one for this rig, and I think the last one, that one is the one that we have. Okay, so from the eyelash, other eyelash bones, I don't see any rogue wave. So here, the problem should be here. First, let's like subtract everything. Oh, maybe I need to protect would be good. Okay, again the resistance. I need to spread apart the mesh, it will be better. Here, then protect, then take off waves. Not possible to take off waves. This is horrible. It's the last thing. Wave painting is already okay. Here I was successful. So let's start adding a lot of waves in the. Yeah, this is why we don't want the middle, any of those things. Unfortunately, I have them right now, so I have to deal with that. Alright, so having trouble with painting these ones. Alright, now this seems good. Let's give these some. Yeah, let's give some smooth waves here. Shear waves there is okay. It's actually positive, provided they are regular and slight, subtle. Then start creating this. Yeah, so this is what we want. We want something like that, and then here I sense something is wrong. It ends on there. No, there's a last one there. So okay, 2. Maybe I can push to the other direction a little. Yeah, this is very hard. That there seemed to be some confusion there. No, this is because this is. Yeah, that's pretty confusing, but I think this is correct. So let's just re-smooth here, and that should do it. Of course, it didn't solve. I suspect there are really rogue waves, terrible rogue waves on the eyelash smash from somewhere else. Probably the eyelid smash. We're gonna check many bones. Maybe the shape of the eyelash. Yeah, maybe this thing is really being disruptive for the work that we need, right? So maybe. So let's see here. All right. Oh, I see a problem here. Posing this changed the other one, so this is a problem with the offset. I'll have to revise this thing. Probably I shouldn't leave this parent, because I want just to pose that one and that it pose the bottom one. Yeah, bad idea. So let's fix this immediately. So this one is parented wrongly, so let's just use the same relation here. So it's this and this. So unfortunately we'll have to give up on that too. Cool idea, but you see now, yeah, it still has some influence there, but this is the eyelid stuff. It was much worse before. I can still reduce the influence of the eyelid there with less retake. Okay, it's still not good, but it's much better. Maybe I need more subdivisions for the eyelash mesh. I mean, in this sense. No, they are regular subdivisions. Yes, subdivisions are regular, but in respect to the rest of the model, maybe what I need is to solve this part, which is a chaos, which I'm hating. Yeah, let's try to abandon this idea here. So we need actually this goes there, and what about this? Like this keeps looping no, but like a continuation. Let's just merge these things. Sounds not really a good idea, but if that works in terms of wave painting, it's very stylized anyway. So with the subdivision, this should be this could work, but I don't know if this is actually a good or bad. I think I've added regularity, right, in this sense, but still bad flow here. Let's say in terms of course I don't know how, but it did exactly to the wave painting. Maybe what's happening here is this is pushing the bone too much below. Is that required? Strangely, this mesh is too much affected. Maybe I shouldn't have so much influence on that part. So okay, let's try this. So select this, then okay. Let's pick that. Let's get here, and where's the middle? Here. All right. So let's take a look. Is this easier? Yeah, it seems easier to wave paint. At least this might be an advantage. Just blurring. What is that one? I hope this is a correct one. Yeah, it should be. Yeah, I don't have any wrong selection there, like, or do I have? I think I have a wrong vertex there. I'll have to de-wave paint that. Can make this in a simple way, like wave 0 shift K. There we go. Just for that one. Alright, so let's do this again. Attempting not to get this, to get the proper selection this time. Alright, I could have a vertex group only for that anyways. I think I have even not using, because forgot. So here, yeah, so I suspect that I need to take off these waves. This is really unrequired for this bone, exactly. Yeah, so see how this pushes too much that part, maybe. There we go. This helps, but it's still not completely satisfactory. I don't know how this is pronunciated. Slight waves maybe, but then ultimately, what about these waves? Did I assess that? Let's reset. It's kind of better now, but this one going too low. It's the deformed bone. Let's see how it's these waves. All right. Okay, so you see, it has lots of potential, but it's not that easy to get everything working in synchrony as we want. Armature deform, stuff like that can be very difficult to solve, but it's not impossible. It's relatively feasible. But even on all my experience on this kind of rig, I still struggle. So I'm not gonna say it's like, oh, it's a best fantastic rigging method. No, it takes takes lots of practice and trial and error, but the final result, when it gets good, is really satisfying. And I think it's pretty cool actually. If you see many of the rigs we have on facial rig, yeah, they work, they are great sometimes, but can they really do a lot of stuff? Sometimes they don't. So I really like to pay attention to those tiny details, because I'm adapting this character design, and I've checked on some different solutions, right? I found limitations that, well, I want something more so got the idea. This is why this is also slightly experimental at this point. I mean slightly because, yes, I've made this. I've never actually make an animation with the character rig with that, to be fair, but the posing tests that I've made and some keyframing, like, I'll suggest this is actually pretty cool, so reliable when it's well done, of course. Okay, so here maybe we can solve this. So you see, many of the problems I was having for the eyelash was something related to the wave painting, which was a bit inadequate. Now we can have pretty much better. It's still not good. Like, there are things that I can improve a lot yet, but yeah, look at that. Yeah, it's already. And now I can also, I think that helped a lot, that the adjustments, that simplifying that. And now easiest thing to do sometimes just changing the mesh here. This can help a lot, and it's very simple to make those adjustments here. Yeah, why not making these things? This will be the very end. Here they go a bit too much inward, so let's push this outward. I mean, they keep pushing that. Maybe this is because of the the posing it had. Alright. Interpenetration, which can be avoided by just posing this bone a bit forward. So yeah, so this is why it's important to have this. Actually, these vertices should be a bit protruded, and they must be closer to the beginning. Unfortunately, it should be like surrounding, something like that. But this can start to get a bit confusing sometimes. But the subdivision surface modifier will do the rest. I hope so. So the job of these vertices is just to keep some shapes here. You see. Now we are getting something more sophisticated. Still not good. What's happening here? Okay. Okay, it's working better. Still some issues there. It's already doing a lot of good stuff. You see, I barely touched that other one, and still already, in terms of character design, it's working already fine. But we want more retakes. I'm mostly working on the middle and the inner one. the bottom eyelash I didn't even touch yet, but it's already mostly working. There's some weird deforms there. Alright folks, there's a lot of improvements. I couldn't go to the challenge yet of the imagery, but we are very close to this. I'll make a pause now. We'll be back. I will be back with more of these improvements on the retakes on the eyelash. The major things, yeah, there's some breaking of the, there's some bad curves there. More adequate wave painting can probably solve that, but it's much better than what it was. I think the top eyelash can be larger also, and the bottom one can be smaller. There's stuff here to fix, and yes, a few tweaks, and this is very already usable, very well in my opinion. And then I can finally switch to that challenge of the expressions. I'll screenshot everything. That will be funny. So sorry, was not able to complete this time. We'll have at least session 7. I believe this will go a bit more beyond 8, perhaps 9, but if we're lucky, just the next one will be the successful one, and I can finally attempt other aspects of this character. So that's it folks, thanks for watching, take care and happy blending as usual. See ya soon.